begin with an opening statement.
Yeah, well, first of all, really appreciative of all of our efforts, of our players in a lot of areas. I thought we really controlled the momentum of the game right from the start, even though we had a real challenging first quarter. I thought we displayed complementary football. In the second quarter, we were able to outgain them 188 to 14 in total yardage. I thought obviously in maintaining that momentum, but the real shift was when we generated the turnover and then we were able to respond and score 7 points on offense. And from that point forward, we scored 35 unanswered points. It was 42-10 with about 9 minutes to go in the game. We had 4 consecutive 3-and-outs. So that was great, but it wasn't perfect. But I liked the way our guys responded. I thought we played hard and I thought we played together. And there was a lot of growth associated with that. Some things in moving forward, we talk about start fast and finish strong. We did not do that. We had some real JV moments at times, particularly, when our backups went in there. And that's a great lesson that the standard doesn't change. We don't compete to a scoreboard, and these individuals are given opportunities to put their football identity on video. I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned, and we're going to need to apply those lessons rather quickly. When you play a team like Arkansas, they will expose you, and they'll expose you in a hurry. They force you to basically execute on a consistent basis, and your margin of error is very small. So for this week, we have to lean into the many challenges that this week presents, and we must be a much better football team. I think, you look at the start to the season, I think you're hard pressed that anyone has a start to this season like we have in terms of playing a conference champion and playoff team in SEMO at the FCS level, and then playing an SEC team with Arkansas, and then playing a team that's picked to win or should win the Big 12 conference in Iowa State. So again, our growth as a football team has to be expedited and sped up immensely. So I will pause and answer any questions y'all may have.
Thank you, Coach. We'll have our first questions from Luke Matheson.
Coach Jones, was there anybody that, after looking at the film, that really stood out to you, that stepped up, that you needed to step up? And then also, you mentioned Arkansas being another level SEC team. What are the things about the Razorbacks that concern you this week?
Well, I think to answer your last question first, this is an SEC opponent. I spent 8 years in that league, have a tremendous amount of respect for that league. I think what you saw across the country in week one is SEC football is at an elite level. The bodies are different. The size is different. The speed of the game is different. The tenacity is different. So there's going to be a monumental speed change. And I think when you play games like this, it's really evident in the lines of scrimmage, but probably in all three phases, the biggest difference is in the special teams games. The special teams game changes, but they've done a really good job in the portal of adding quality players at positions of need. Obviously, for them, it starts with Green, the quarterback. He manages the game. He can run. He can throw. So, again, this is a real quality SEC opponent, really good football team. And all you have to do is watch video, and you know that. I have a lot of respect for their program and what Coach Pittman has built there. So a great challenge in terms of guys stepping up for us. We had a number of individuals, when you look at it, 9 of our 11 starters on defense had never taken a rep at Arkansas State before. So I think just the constant growth, the connection associated with which we talked about, our style of play, the energy with which we want to play with. I thought there was a lot of teaching opportunities, but a lot of growth, immaturity that really happened. But as we all know, the level of competition picks up, the quality of opponent picks up. And so the mistakes that maybe the common person didn't see watching the game, that's why I said Arkansas will expose you in a hurry if you don't work to fix your blinking red lights and also your flaws and your deficiencies in moving forward.
Let's go over to Jeremy Harper.
Hey, Coach, great game last weekend. But after at the press conference, you had mentioned that there were some things that happened in the game that you won't be able to get away with against presumably Arkansas and Iowa State. You said the next three opponents. Oh, is there anything specific that stood out?
Well, I think there was a number of things. And, first of all, when you play an opponent like Arkansas, you can't beat yourself. And, what players have to understand is plays are off of plays and they accumulate. So I'll give you an example. We have first and goal at the 3-yard line, and the receiver gets called for a pre-snap penalty. We don't respect the neutral zone. We're moving. So it's a 5-yard penalty. It sets the play back, and then we fumble the next play. And those are all things to be the team that we want to be. We can't beat ourselves. It's the mental discipline. It's the discipline to execute over time, things like that. Breakdowns in coverage, some missed assignments, some missed run fits. And then, offensively, a couple times the pocket collapsed and Jalen did a great job of kind of bailing us out. When you play an Arkansas team, that's going to be a hot pocket and, we're going to have a quarterback sack. So I think there was a number of times where we should have had some negative plays on offense that ended up being explosive plays for us. And so, you always look at as a coach, you can't be blinded by the outcome and the result of the play. So a lot of times it's a what if. Well, what if this would have happened or what if that would have happened? And that's how we coach and that's how we learn and that's how we get better from it.
Let's go over to Charles.
Coach, what's going on, man?
Hey, Charles.
So you guys rushed for about 150 yards on Saturday. We've talked about how tough that Arkansas defense is. What's it going to take for you guys to have a good ground game this week?
Well, I think it's consistency and understanding that 3 and 4 yards, the dirty yards, are good runs. And, possessing the football and being patient, they challenge you in so many ways because also, you're preparing for multiple looks. They're extremely multiple on defense. They do a good job in how they deploy their players. They've added to their back end with 2 really, really good corners in the transfer portal. And so when you really look at what they've been able to do and address their needs as a program, they've been able to do that. But, just the level of physicality, the speed of the game, all those things, you're going to have to strain all the way through the blocks. You're going to have to move your feet and you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to take what they give you.
Take a final question here from Luke.
Coach, obviously this is the first time these two programs have played. 31 states have in-state FBS teams that play. We're the 31st that's going to play this game. Ultimately, I know you're worried about Arkansas State and the future of Arkansas State and throughout the season being successful. But why do you feel this game means for the state of Arkansas, but also do you feel this game should be played more often after this?
Well, I think first of all, it presents a great, great challenge. Let's make no mistake about that. But when you look at, the 2 Division I programs, the 2 FBS programs coming together and playing for the first time, that's one of significance. And I don't even know if that'll ever happen again. And then, which adds to the significance, is playing it in the state capital of Little Rock. So I think there's a lot of things, that you don't take for granted. But for us, we have to stay focused on the task at hand and lean into the many challenges that Arkansas presents. But I know for the entire state of Arkansas, I think it's really, really healthy. I think for the state of college football, it's extremely healthy, and all the events going on and the event at the governor's mansion before the game on Friday with both universities, both institutions being there. I just think, in today's world of collegiate athletics and where we're going, to be able to have your in-state schools play each other, I think there's a lot of health that goes into our industry with that. So I'm fortunate that we're playing this game. I know Southern Miss played Mississippi State, and I thought that was that was great. Obviously, I know for Charles and for that program and for that state. Now for us to be playing, Arkansas, I think that's big. We all understand the challenges that it presents. But I do think it's extremely healthy for the state of Arkansas.
Thanks, Coach Jones. Appreciate the time today.
Have a great rest of your week.